five times being arrested for tickets. I feel like you learned a lesson.
I have. I don't want no more tickets. Yeah, I don't want no more tickets, and I definitely don't want to go to jail. That's not happening again.
Yeah, after like 7 times.
Shut up. So the first time I went to jail, right? I called my mom. I told her I was in jail, and she was like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I have tickets." And she was like, "Oh my God, that's so awful." Then we got off the phone, and she was like, "Well, I'm not gonna be able to bail you out, so you're only gonna be in there for 5 days. I'll see you when you come out." So my friend came to visit me in jail, which I thought was random. I'm only in there for I think the first time I went in for like 8 days. So I was in there for 8 days, and my friend came to visit me. So I was like, "Oh, I got a visitor. Okay, whatever." And she was like, "So what you really do?" And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Yeah, your mama told me to come down here and find out what you really did because she don't believe you." I was like,
"Wow,
I really got tickets, like for real." She was like, Well, so what? I'm like, "No, bitch."
That's funny.
What she think it was?
She didn't even know. She was like, "Your mom told me to come down here because she don't believe you."
Wow, that's hilarious.
And she called me because she thought I was in cahoots. I don't know what the fuck is going on, so I had to come down here.
That's hilarious.
But with that being said,
that's hilarious.
Dino, I would think Dino would get arrested for Dino, it would have to be something like so frivolous, like Dino was trying to ask a police officer for something, and Dino went to reach for his cell phone, and the police officer like tased him, took him down, and took him to jail. It would be like something so frivolous, like a mistake. It would be like something like a mistake, but they would think Dino did something wrong.
Okay.
That would be for you.
So kind of like what I said about Pip, sort of.
Kind of, yeah. Okay, so yeah. But for Pip, I think Pip would get arrested for some type of crazy public act, like being out, being wild, or doing something crazy, some crazy public act.
Smoking weed in public, like a public.
You can get arrested for that.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. It's still against federal law.
Yeah, you can't do it. It's like they tell you all the time. It's like in the privacy of your own home. It is not for public consumption. You can do it recreationally, but not in public. So yeah.
See, I would think I get it. I would think I said it says what would people think about you?
Right.
So I would think my family and friends would probably think is civil disobedience is what I would think.
Okay.
Like because that's the only way I see me going to jail.
Down with Whitey.
Right.
Like or I just
taking a stand against the police.
Well, you know what? If I was at a protest like a Black Lives Matter,
if
I'm at a Black Lives Matter rally and white people getting arrested. And I'm like, well, I'm going home. That would be wrong. You got to kind of get arrested too.
Justice is served.
Yeah. Well. Thank y'all. Thanks for holding it down for the cause.
Yeah.
No, but if I had to think about you guys, I would think like something similar for you, Dino. Like I would think that you got pulled over. I imagine that you try to be like work with the officer and be, yes sir, and blah, 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 and then they'd ask you to do something you didn't want to do that you knew that you didn't have to do or something like that, and that would escalate into something, and you get arrested for that. Sandra Bland, with a different ending.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
God.
You're a wild card, Dejan,
right.
but I'm really thinking it's going to be some sort of assault.
Yeah.
It's gonna be start off innocent enough, and you're gonna try to take care of it. Like I told you, stay back, and then it's gonna be like, oh no, this bitch think I'm playing.
She gonna learn today. She gonna learn today.
Both of those things sound like something I'd say. Well, I'm gonna try my best not to get arrested, y'all.
Well, I don't think you will.
No.
But if you did,
Yeah, that would be my first thought. Like she probably had to put somebody in check because they went too far.
Hello, I'm gonna run for my life. Y'all don't understand. They're gonna have to take me the next time. I'm not going without
You're
a
gonna
fight.
be a wanted fugitive.
I'm not going back.
Tickets.
I don't want to go back.
I wouldn't want to go.
I ain't got no more tickets. I cleared all my tickets up. Hello, they gone. I don't have no tickets. Thank God. No more outstanding tickets.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into our mail.
Oh, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey, Mr. Postman.
Okay, so it's going to be feedback and shout-outs this time. I got a lot of shout-outs. I haven't given any in a while, and a lot of shows and things I want to cover. First one goes to Miss Tony JL. Now, Miss Tony, she is a part of that group that I was talking about earlier, which I will be talking about again some more. And she's real cool. And she listened to the show and said, I am enjoying the show. Thank you for sharing. So we want to thank Ms. Tony.
Thank you, Ms. Tony.
Thank you, Miss Tony.
Checking out the Shiznit Show. Please hold your applause to the end. Okay. Kids, please hold your applause. There's a lot of people to go through. We don't have time. Please hold your applause until the end. Okay? Thank you, kids. So other people to give a shout out to in that group. Now let me tell you some more about the group. Okay, the group's called Henny and Hot Wings. There's some long name. Henny and Hot Wings Tell Me Everything. Okay? Now, and it's it's the official group for the Henny and Hot Wings podcast from Miss Hot Sauce, right? Which is my Facebook homegirl / sister wife, and she started that group, and that's her show is kind of all about relationships and between men and women and stuff like that. So there's a lot of deep conversations, a lot of really cool people in there, and there's a little bashing that goes on, but it's usually kept to a minimal, but it gets people are actually in there too. This is actually like 500 people in there, but it's like the same 12 to 20 of us that do all the talking all the time, like in most Facebook.
Pretty much.
But anyway, so other people in that group: Shay Diggs, Akeisha Lewis, April Stanford, CeCe Pettison, one of my favorites. I love that name too, CeCe Pettison. Rhonda Spain, Charlie Floyd, Reggie Trimba, Kai Nicole, and Kai, special shout out to Kai Nicole. Kai Nicole is an authoress who wrote a book called Date Like a Woman, and she has already sent us a press copy. I'm working on that, and as soon as I get through that or whatever, we're going to book her. She's from the Yay area.
Awesome.
She's going to come down and be interviewed on the Shiznit Show.
Yay!
So that's going to be happening this summer.
Awesome.
Okay.
We look forward to meeting you in person.
Yes, very much so. And then, of course, Ms. Hot Sauce and Jill Badu, who are the host and co-host of the Henny and Hot Wings podcast. And let's see. Then now we have podcast shout-outs. Henny and Hot Wings podcast. The No Nonsense Show. Of course, my boy, Be Honest.
Hey.
BTG for president.
Hey.
Ella the Great.
Baylor.
Still got to bring his ass down here to the show. The Jason and Mindy podcast, because Jason and Mindy have changed the name of their show yet again. This is like the third name in like 2 years. Yeah, they went from 3 is comedy to evening radio broadcast, and now they're Jason and Mindy podcast. But,
Evening radio podcast, yeah.
But you know what? Whatever they call themselves, I'm in.
Right?
That's better.
I really don't care.
I think this is a better name
cool.
for them.
Yeah.
I know what this is. And actually, and being a fan of the show, I obviously knew what the Evening Radio podcast is. But if I was somebody that didn't know anything about them, Jason and Mindy podcast is more representative of what it is than Evening Radio podcast.
For sure.
So shout out to those guys. And also a special shout out to Jason and Be Honest, who helped me with the new equipment that I bought for the studio.
Shout out.
And gave me, a lot of good advice and some pointers and things of that nature. So I really appreciate that from those guys. Let's see who else. The Difference Between Us podcast with Jason, Mindy, and Stephanie and Jason. Stephanie and David Modell, who are newlyweds, just got married like a week or two ago. So congratulations.
Congratulations,
and special
you
shout out
guys.
to those guys. And let's see, the Brand X podcast, John Buchanan and Deuce and the Jimmy. Those guys are pretty cool. I've been checking them out because of Jason. Jason turned me on to those guys, and good show. 3 Shades Dope. They're a pretty new podcast, and it's rare for me to really be into new podcasts, but I have another new podcast on the list as well. But these guys, they right out the gate, they kind of grabbed me. I think I started messing around with them like maybe their 4th or 5th episode. They're probably, I think, in the early double digits, like maybe 12 or something like that.
Awesome.
And they're cool. It's Jovi is the girl. It's like they're like us. They're well, not like us. They're like
It's only
us.
one us.
They're like us in the sense that there's 2 guys and one girl, right? So it's Jovi, and then there's Jarrell and Cousin Court.
Okay.
And their chemistry, not to sound cliche, because that's what whenever there's an ensemble cast or more, that's the first thing people say about the chemistry, whatever. But a lot of times it's true, and in their case, it's true. I really love their chemistry, and it's really what
brings
pull
it,
me in, whatever. And they're just really down to earth. It's one of those shows that also sounds cliche, but feel like you kicking it with your homies, listening to them.
Yeah.
And and I like it. I like it a lot.
What do they cover on that show?
pop culture.
Pop culture?
But it's a little more like laid back, you
Yeah.
know, and more kind of, it feels kind of conversational or whatever, and, you know, a lot of laughing and joking and whatever. It's good. They crazy on that
That's
show.
cool.
Shout out to the G1 network. That's Got What You Need.
Yes.
And that's the husband and wife team, young black couple.
Come on now.
Doing that network there, Tawshawn and Model E, a.k.a.
Yes.
Erica Jones, a.k.a. my adopted Twitter daughter. You guys I mentioned her before. And that's their network, and they have several shows on there. So you might want to go there and check. They have a really good music show, and then Erica has a Model E and Friends.
Is it all Bismarcky?
No. So they have like several shows, and the production is very good because Tawshawn comes from music. I mean, not music. Comes from radio.
Oh, okay.
Has a radio background, whatever, and it shows in the production. A lot of times that's what sticks out to me first is the production. The In Deep show, can't forget about them. We haven't mentioned them in a while, but they're my original. Go way back. Actually met those guys in person when I went to D.C. Love those guys. Shout out to Big B and Queen Neen and Doc Mark Wiley. I still ride with you guys. And then there's these two local. Okay, the next two are local shows, LA shows that will be on our show sometime coming up. As soon as I get the studio, you know, all together, and hopefully, I think, you know, sometimes you can't tell until after you listen back. I think this episode is going to sound good, and you can hear what's been done. Mm-hmm. But I'll know for sure after I listen back. But I also need to do some things for when we have guests, because right now I just have it set up for the three of us, and I have to get a couple of more pieces in the mail and get it ready for guests. And once we do that, then we'll have these other shows on. And one of them is called Woke with Kids. They've just recently, like I would say recently within the last couple of months, were featured on The Black Guy Who Tips. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of really,
like that show.
Yeah, they're really blowing up, and because they're you know, that's huge. That's huge for them. So shout out and congrats to them for that. And last but not least is the Priority Society, also another LA podcast. Who will come in, and we're going to do a whole show with them because their subject matter I find fascinating.
Yes.
Which is all about the swinger lifestyle.
Yes, adults only.
Yes, so that's going to be interesting because they're going to come in here and they're going to give it the real. They're going to tell us about all the things, how we think and glorify, and what our misconceptions are about the life, and you know what really goes down. And that's also a very new show. Now they're really, really new. Like I don't even think they have 10 episodes in.
Oh wow,
right?
It's fresh.
So they're fresh, but the subject matter and them, they just hooked me from the beginning.
Yeah,
And,
I'm hooked.
They're Eros and Isis, and they're a married couple, you know, here in LA with a family and everything.
I want them
And
to
we're
give
gonna
me a
hear
name.
all about that. What, you want a sex name?
Yeah, I want a sex name. They got Isis and Eros. I want to be like,
Aphrodite.
ooh, I like that.
Yeah, you look like an Aphrodite.
Oh yeah, Aphrodite. I can get an afro. That's not it. Never mind. Whoops, never mind. But I'm excited to meet them. I feel like, you know how you watch documentaries and they always have to blur somebody's face out.
Right.
I feel like I'm there, so I get to see behind the blur. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, so yeah, and shout out to Woke with Friends, guys. I know it's been a minute since I reached out to you guys initially and, you know, talked about
Woke with Kids,
together.
right?
Woke with Kids. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
Woke
said
with
Woke
Kids.
with Friends.
Yeah,
Woke
you
with
did.
Kids. Yeah, I haven't forgotten about you guys. I'm just trying to get you shit all tight here and everything, and I want you guys, you know, I want everything sounding great. I have not been happy with the sound of my studio the last, you know, lately. So I'm getting everything back up to speed again. I forgot all about replacing cables and stuff. You know, I've had these cables since I started the show over 5 years ago, and some of them, it was just time.
Yeah.
It's time to replace them. They just wear out after a while. And
Yeah.
it was causing all kinds of background noise and different things, whatever. And so, yeah, so that with the new piece or whatever, hopefully things are back up to speed.
Good.
Now.
Yeah, I'm
So-
very excited to have Woke with Kids come and talk with them and everything. So I'm
Yeah.
excited about all the new shows and all the shout outs and all of everybody.
All right. So with that said, that brings this episode to a close.
No.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
If we
yes.
must.
We must. All right. So thank you guys for checking in. Thanks for riding with us. Don't forget to share the show. don't forget to hit us up.
Yes.
You know, Facebook, iTunes, give us reviews. Stitcher, you can give us a review on there if you don't have iTunes. And, you know, send in
Everywhere.
any comments that you guys have or about the show, you know, feel free.
DM
comment,
us.
and we
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Leave a voicemail message.
Leave a voicemail.